Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the MindShare Podcast. This is where we cut through the noise, say the things that need to be said, and give you real strategies to help you work smarter, build MindShare, and grow a business that actually makes money. This is episode number 341. And today, we're talking about something that most agents feel, but don't talk about: confidence. If you've been questioning your skills, your marketing, your worth, if you're in a funk and wondering if you still have what it takes, this one's for you. Let's talk about what causes the confidence dip and how to fix it. So let's start this off. First, did you know that confidence was a sales tool? Like, this isn't just a mindset thing. This is an advantage. Think about it. You ever walked into a room, a table, a negotiation, where you've got the person on the other end that you're facing, that you're up against? Maybe it's not even in the business room. Maybe it's in sports. Maybe it's anywhere in life. Anything. Any extracurricular that you like to do, that you've been involved in, that you enjoy doing, that you work hard at, that you've seen other people do, that they just don't do as well. But you see that person who walks in who just doesn't have it. Maybe they know they're not as good. Maybe they're new. Maybe they're just shy people. But you can tell when somebody's missing a lack of confidence. You can tell when somebody has a ton of confidence. And I mean, you look for the characteristics, and you've got, quiet versus loud. You've got, reserved versus very outgoing. And you might say, hey, just because somebody's loud doesn't mean they're confident. And yeah, I guess, you know what? In saying that, as I just said it, you could be right. Absolutely. It doesn't necessarily mean that people are confident. It means that they're looking to build their confidence. Maybe they're overcompensating. I got you. But when you think about it, you say somebody who can, look, you get it. But when we talk about it being a mindset versus, or being a mindset and being a sales advantage, the person who walks into a negotiation table with more confidence, who feels more prepared, knows their stuff better, is probably the person that walks out winning the negotiation. Or much the same, you're walking into a listing presentation, you're sitting down and you walk in confidently, you know your stuff, you've come prepared, you know your numbers, you've come with your presentation, you know deep down you are the right person to list that property. You can feel it when that person walks in. They've done it a million times before. They know they're going to get this listing. And then there's those that walk in that are, again, completely timid, not prepared, haven't done it that many times before, don't believe in themselves, have a case of imposter syndrome potentially. So by having more confidence, it helps you win the game. I mean, think about this. If you feel more confident, and you've got follow-up to do, and you know that you know what to say on that phone when you talk to people, or you know that you've done this so many times before that if you do it X amount of times, it's going to work, you're going to follow up better. When you speak to people and you're more prepared, you're going to be able to pitch better. And of course, if you follow up better and you set the tone and you pitch better and everything else is ready to go, well, of course, you're going to close stronger. Thing is, when you doubt yourself, we avoid the hard stuff, right? I can't do it. I'm not good at it. I don't think I'm going to do well. I don't know. Somebody's better than I am. Well, if that's the case, then there's going to be a lot of things you don't even try. And the results are going to be a reflection of the lack of confidence that we have. And of course, much the same could be very much a reflection of the abundance of confidence that we have. Look, bottom line, if confidence is low, conversion is low, winning is low. So got to raise that up. Now, let's ask another question, though. Why are you second-guessing yourself? Like, what happened? What is it? And if we look at some of the factors that are out there, there's probably certain factors out there that a lot of people will lean on for why their confidence could be low. I mean, look at one right now. The big one that stands out to everybody right now is the market. Now, we could argue that it's a bad market. We could argue that it's a slow market. We could argue that the market just isn't, running at the pace that it was running at just a few years ago. And that's really where I'm going to go with it. I don't think it's a horrible market. In fact, I think there's a lot of people that still want to make moves out there, that want to list their properties, that want to move into new properties. But things are just taking longer. They're just not selling in 30, 60, 90 seconds, as we continue to say. But blaming the market on that, or just saying it's a horrible market, I mean, not the answer. And it's funny, we've had so many conversations about market lately with so many different people and getting so many different opinions about what people believe is going on out there and talking to people about struggles and challenges and why they're not achieving what they want to achieve. And yes, naturally, what is going on out there is going to have an impact on what you do or don't achieve. Absolutely. The bigger question, though, is, number one, have you been through this before? And again, this is sidebar right now for a moment to the confidence factor, but have you been through this before? Have you been through one of these markets? Or are you just so fresh in the business still? When we say fresh, it's not an insult. It's not a bad thing. But you've only been in for, say, 5 years. Well, we know if you've been in for 5 years, you've only experienced the absolute height of a real estate market probably ever. And you started off in a great place. Things were easy, making money. Now all of a sudden it's become real. We've actually got to work. We've actually got to do things. We've actually got to have patience. And impatience is what's killing the market right now. Impatience is what's dropping prices right now. Because we just think that if it's not moving fast enough, if I drop the price, I can move it faster. What we need to take into consideration is, are we just dropping prices because we feel like dropping prices because we don't have the patience to sit on this property? Or are we dropping a price because we listed too high and, quite frankly, we should have been lower? And those are two different things. See, just trying for max amount to dollar, again, I get it. We all want max dollar. But the market's going to set the tone for what the value should be. And if we are setting the tone there, but then too quickly dropping that price, we are setting the tone for what the market should be and therefore having an impact on everybody else's listings, much the same other people are having an impact on your listings. So when we talk to market, it's not a slow market. It's an adjusting market. As we've continued to say, it's a professionals market. And so when we think back to confidence, and we bring this back in here, when we think to market, some of you, and I'm going to say some of you, are doing the work but not seeing the results. Some of you are doing the work and seeing the results. Many of you are not doing the work. So ask yourself, be real with yourself right now. As you're listening to this, look yourself in a mirror and ask yourself, am I doing the work? Now, if you can confidently say, yeah, you know what, I am. I'm doing my IPAs every single day. I'm out there prospecting. I'm out there doing my follow-up. I'm out there making connections. I'm adding new people to my database. You're doing all that, and you're not seeing the results that you want. It's going to mess with your head. You're normal. You're a human. And naturally, yeah, that type of market is going to start to impact the confidence that you feel in yourself, in your business, in your abilities, in the processes, your processes. But we've got to take into consideration what it is that could be impacting it and why. And right off the top, the market, is really a big reason why so many people aren't feeling it right now. Now, here's another big one. And this one I think that, we all suffer from in some degree. And it's so hard not to do this. And we know that we shouldn't. We just know it. Like, we know, why are you doing that to yourself? I don't know. I know I shouldn't be doing that. Like, would you teach your kids to do it that way? Oh, no way. They shouldn't be doing that. We don't want our kids doing that. Comparing ourselves to others. What they have, what they're doing, how they've been recognized, the opportunities they get, their lifestyle versus our lifestyle, the car they drive, the clothes they wear, the people they know. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And if you sit back and think to yourself, no, I don't do that, I'm going to call BS. I just think there's way too many channels out there, way too many avenues out there. I mean, social media, for example. As we're scrolling social, what are we doing? We're looking. We're seeing what other people have. We're seeing what we don't have. And you may just be accepting it, or you might be thinking to yourself, wow, I really want that. Or why do they have that and I don't have that? And I've said this so many times before. Social media is like pollution for the brain. Don't get me wrong. There's some serious advantages that we need to leverage with it, especially when we've got a business. It's free. It's a great channel to be consistent on. But the problem becomes, when we're scrolling and we're seeing other people, especially competitors of ours, we wonder why them and not us. It happens to everybody. It happens to the best of us. Right? You see highlight reels from people and you're like, wow, that looks amazing. Why are they doing so well? We see they've got a bunch of listings or a bunch on the go. Again, why are they doing so well? Why not me? What did they do? What don't I know? What aren't people telling me? Why am I behind? And so much of that, if you think about it, when we think that way, we see what other people have and we wonder why we don't have it. That right there is going to drop our confidence. So the idea behind comparison, this is why I say to you, get your social media in check. It is. Dave, I've got a profile. No, not like that. Well, I mean get it in check, and I don't even mean strategically right now by leveraging it to build the mindshare. What I mean specifically right now from getting it in check is what time of the day do you get on social media to scroll? Ask yourself that. Because if you're getting on first thing in the morning, you wake up at whatever time you get up in the morning, the first thing you do is grab that phone and you tap in to social media. Whoa, what are you doing? Seriously. Like, you could think of habits and bad habits. That right there, right now, to me, has got to be right up at the top of the list. And people could argue, smoking and drinking too much alcohol, and God knows whatever else, I'm going to tell you right now, I think social media is the worst thing that we have going for us. The worst. And we're all exposed to it. We're all addicted. It's horrible. So getting it in check means what time are you going to look at it? When is your mind going to be primed in a way that it is ready to accept whatever you see on there? I don't touch that stuff in the morning. I don't even touch that stuff late at night. I don't want the first thoughts that I have in my mind or the last thoughts that I go to bed with to have anything to do with anybody else. And again, it's nothing against all of you. It's moreover, this is protection for me. Do I want to set the tone of my entire day based on something that I saw that just made me down or not happy or wonder? Much the same, do I want to go to bed with that kind of thought as the last thing on my mind? Hell no. I want to be happy. I want to think about, good things. I don't want to be comparing myself. I don't want to be wondering why I didn't get something because I get told no every day. Every single day I get told no. And it sucks. But the reality is, if I don't get told no, there's no way I'm going to be told yes. So I just keep working for, more yeses. But along the way, there's a lot of no's. Now, that in itself as well could be affecting our confidence. So we've got to get up and be prepared with the proper mindset to think, I'm not worried about what anybody else has or what they're achieving or what they're doing. I'm going to focus on me. And this is where the third element here comes from when it comes to like a lack of confidence. It really is a lack of routine. You got no system, which means you got no structure, which means your mind is all over, which means you don't really trust yourself and your abilities. Think about that. Do you get up every single day understanding exactly what you need to do today? Think about it. I got a little checklist, or, I get up in the morning and I make some bullet point notes and I kind of write down my to-do list and I start to just, work. Do you have times attached to that? Do you know what needs to happen tomorrow, 2 days from now, and a week from now that you could prepare today so that you don't get up that day and start scrambling and go, oh my God, I'm not prepared? And then you show up late and one, you're not prepared. 2, you're late. How in the world are you going to win at whatever it was that you needed to show up for? It's not possible. You had no system. You had no structure. So if you've got a lack of routine, and I'm not saying that your days need to look identical every single day. There's some people that love the routine like that, where it's just the same thing every day, and they just keep working away, and they tweak along the way, and then other people need it to change a little bit so it's more exciting. Much the same, there's going to be different tasks, different duties, different appointments, different things to do's in a day, from day to day, in a week. But the point is, what's the structure? What's the system? What's the process? See, for me, it's about scheduling the night before. Now, as I schedule the night before, not only am I looking at the next day, but I'm looking at the next week. All right, what times do I have available tomorrow? Number one, that aren't already pre-booked with meetings, appointments, presentations, trainings, coaching calls, you name it. What do I have? Okay, so I've got these blocks of time that are already in my schedule, and they happen usually about 2 weeks out. Now, if we've got trainings and we've got, keynote presentations, of course, those will be booked in for months ahead sometimes. So we can see those. But again, a point in hand, as I look ahead at the schedule and I see everything that's going on, it allows me to take the time that I have tomorrow and prioritize the focus. So in between the meetings and everything else I got to do, what else needs to be done? 1, to run my business. 2, to run me. And 3, to be prepared for whatever's coming in my way in the coming days, weeks, and months. But by structuring or scheduling the night before, scheduling, same thing. By doing it the night before, when I get up the next day, I'm prepped and ready to go. See, that's my system. That's my structure. That allows my mind to be in full organized mode, which means I'm able to be confident in what I need to be doing at any given moment. I can confidently get it done, and I can be confident that I'm prepped and ready to go when it's time to go live. Hence why, when you see me take a stage, if you've ever seen me take a stage, I got lots of energy and lots of confidence. Because I'm prepared, not because I'm better. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think I'm pretty darn good, and I've heard I'm pretty good. But the point is, I'm prepared, right? I go in ready. I'm not going in there where the night before I'm just trying to figure out what I want to say. Plus, not only prepared for going into battle, but just on a regular day, day to day, the practice. So when I go to make my cold calls, and yes, as much as I preach to you, make your calls, I make my calls. And every time I go to make my calls, I think, here we go. But the beauty is I've done so many calls that when I get on that call, I have no fear. No fear. No fear of what I'm going to say. No fear of who I'm going to talk to. No fear of what they're going to say. No fear of being told no. So again, do you have a routine? Because if you don't, that's what's killing your confidence. So think about it. Is it the market? Is it the comparing? Is it the lack of routine? Is it all of them? Ask yourself, are you over-consuming and under-executing? Taking in a lot of information, but not doing anything with it? Are you judging your success based on what other people are doing? If you are, it's got to stop. And maybe the easy way to stop that is to stop consuming as much. And maybe find the right times of the day to consume. Which then brings us to the whole thing of, are you just winging your days or are you working your plan? Because if you got a plan, then you're going to know that consuming at the wrong hours is actually going to make you compare yourself, which is going to bring your confidence down. And whoa, this is a recipe for disaster. So ask yourself those. Because if you answer yes, and if any of this just made you think, then I'm going to tell you the action step here is really to look at your routine. Because I believe that routine will help with more confidence when it comes to the market, and no matter what, whether the market is good or bad. I believe that routine will help you with the comparison trap that you might be into. That it seems like many people, most people all are. It's human. It's like a human nature, something we do, right? But again, the routine will help with that. So Let's look at this. Let's do a reset, okay? Let's call it the confidence reset. I know you just heard that coffee sip. Oh, that was nice. Seriously, though, like, when we do these sometimes and I talk about the coffee, you got to understand. Dave, you talk about the coffee all the time. When you take that first sip of coffee in the morning, I don't know. There's something about being in the studio with a microphone, complete quiet, nobody else around, and a cup of coffee, and a microphone, and a cup of coffee. That's just a lot of fun. Anyways, confidence reset. Let's look at 3 steps that we could take to get that confidence up, to get that edge back, to get that swagger. Okay, the first one here is think about your morning routine. Okay, we just talked about routines and the lack thereof, but think about your morning routine. Start with something that makes you feel strong. And I mean, do not tell me that waking up and scrolling social media and seeing what everybody else is doing is going to make you feel strong. In fact, that complete opposite, it's going to make you feel weak. But what do you do first thing in the morning? And I want you to think about that right now. Seriously. And maybe if it includes, I get up and I go to the washroom. Okay. But I'm talking like, do you bring your phone? Do you start scrolling? And if it's not the washroom thing, like, what do you do? Think about it. See, first thing for me, which is really, really important when I get up in the morning, after, get ready and whatnot and, make my way, to get to the office, sit down at the desk, and I want to look at my goals. I want to tally up everything I accomplished yesterday. I want to be able to say to myself right off the top of the day, Dave, you won. You're winning. Look how much you did. Wow, man, we're seeing a lot of growth right now. Yeah, keep going, buddy. So seriously speaking, right off the top, that's the first thing that I want to do. Now, again, I haven't opened up technology as the first thing I do in the morning. I get myself ready. I let my mind start to wake up. I hydrate. I spend time with my children. That makes me feel powerful. And the next thing I do is then I focus in on me once my children sort of are off to school, which they are now out of school. Cannot believe my son just graduated grade 8. That is wild. And I know it's just grade 8, big deal. Everybody graduates grade 8. I mean, I think everybody graduates grade 8, but still, it's like a chapter of our lives. Anyways, preparation for myself, hydration, seeing my loved ones, tracking my goals. Think about it. I feel good. See, I start my day and that makes me feel strong. I'm ready to go. I'm ready for whatever comes at me now, whether somebody tells me no, whether social media is not my friend, whatever. But what is it for you? And I'll tell you this, throughout the day, and again, those of you that might follow on Insta, those of you that know me, it's the gym. The gym's got to get out there, get in there in a day. I have to work out. It's like it's become like addicted. I'm addicted. It's addictive. It's an addiction. But it's a good addiction. I like this one. It's good for me. And yes, there's days that I don't want to go. Absolutely. Work hard, sweaty, whatever. Okay. But the gym is such an amazing way to make you feel strong. Obviously. Get a workout in. Find time in your day to take care of you. Okay? Physically. Find time in your day to take care of you mentally. The goals. Journaling. And for those that journal, you know how powerful it is. And for those that don't, I know you just rolled your eyes and thought I'm going to journal. What am I, a young kid with a diary in their nightstand? Like, yeah. Don't you want to be that young kid again? Like, just go back to the youth? Now, journaling isn't taking you back to youth. What journaling is doing is taking the thoughts that are, taking the thoughts that are impacting your confidence and they're getting them out of your head so that you can talk it out. See, it's amazing how when you write things down, it's like you're having a conversation with yourself and you start to see things coming to life because you're actually bringing them to life by putting ink on paper. Much the same, we can write the good. You write the bad, you write the good. But you journal. You get the thoughts out of your mind. Okay? So the gym is a good way to start your day if you're into that. Personally, for me, I don't like starting my day with the gym. Journaling is a great way to do it. There are times of my year where I journal in the morning, and there's times of my year where I journal in the evening. And it's just, again, it's a rhythm. It's a feeling. Some people will get up and start right away, start hitting, calling people and talking to people. And I got to tell you too, something for me when I first get on the road in the mornings, I love getting on the call on a phone. Gets my chops going. I feel like I'm talking to people. I'm sort of, instead of just sitting there in my own mind and kind of remaining in the state of like I've just woken up almost, what I want to do is start getting my mind moving. So I find getting on a phone call with somebody could be a good way. I mean, some people talk about cold showers, but I don't know. I can't pull it off, right? It's like a cold plunge. You go to a spa, do a cold plunge, or I got a cousin of mine that has one. So we do the sauna, and then you go to a cold plunge. It's very awesome. But cold shower, I don't know. Still not there for me. I have trouble with that one. But the point that I'm making here is you want to win your morning. You want to get a win in there early. So ask yourself, what am I doing? What could I do to get a win in early? What am I doing with my morning routine? How can I make an adjustment if I need to that again is impacting my confidence? How can I switch that and do something that's going to help me raise the level of my confidence? Going to the gym, journaling, looking at your goals, having a good conversation with somebody, a friend. Get something in there real fast, okay? And along the way, all day long, when we talk about routine and process, it's about finding tiny little wins because the little wins actually create the big win. Now, we talked 3-step game plan, okay? So step 1 was win your morning. Step 2, keep a promise to yourself, okay? Do not skip your non-negotiables. Confidence is going to come from trust, self-trust. It's going to come from us committing to something, then following through on that thing. See, it's real simple for me to sit here and say to you, if you were like, hey, man, you making your calls? I'm like, yeah, of course I'm making my calls. But I know that I'm not making my calls. So although you are like, that's awesome, so happy for you, or that's great, how's it going, or whatever, in my mind, I'm thinking, man, I'm not doing it. I need to be doing it. This is not good. I'm not going to get what I want. And then for some reason, we start scrolling social media because we're bored and we haven't been doing the work we need to do. And then it gets even worse because we see what other people are getting. So you got to promise yourself. You got to keep the promise to yourself. If you're not going to promise yourself, how can you expect anybody to promise you? And if you can't promise for yourself, how are you going to promise for others? And if you can't promise for others, how are you ever going to win the trust of others? And if you do win the trust but don't promise or don't execute on what you said you were going to do, you will break that trust. You will lose that opportunity, and that will not bode well for future opportunities. So you got to promise yourself. You got to come up with that plan and stick to it. There's that process, no matter how hard it is. Because when you push through, and you know you push through, even if I said to you, make 5 phone calls today, and you make your 5 phone calls today, and you leave 5 voicemails, you will feel better that you made the calls than if you didn't. And step 3 here, I kind of just alluded to this, but it's to track those small wins, those micro wins. Did you book the appointment? I did. Did you make the calls? I did. Are you learning? I am. Okay. Did you stick to the schedule? Yeah. Did you get your email done today? Yeah. Right? Did you get the little bit of admin work that you needed to be done? Yeah. See, we keep waiting for the big win to make us feel worthy. But life doesn't work that way. This really does come back to those small little wins. It comes back to those little tiny moments that we have in life that ultimately compound to help us achieve what we want. I mean, again, I'm going to use the gym as a perfect example, okay? Ultimately, when I say I'm going to the gym, I could say to you that I've got a goal, right? And that goal is to be in a certain shape. And I don't mean like, well, yeah, you could say it's a physical shape, but I mean like in shape, right? I want to be feeling a certain way. I want to be a certain weight because I realize that weight will be reflective of what the figure is and how I feel and whether I feel energetic or I feel sluggish. How I feel when I'm at hockey will be a direct reflection of the workouts that I do, because as I'm doing the workout and the blood is pumping, the cardiovascular is moving, I've got more energy. And then I go perform better, not only at the gym, but in hockey, and then I've got more confidence. Right? And that's one example of. But the big picture is, every single time I go to the gym, do I immediately get into the shape or the weight or whatnot that I want? Do the muscles get into that perfect, physique that you want them to get into after one workout? No. So I'll take that to a flip side and bring it into business and say, off of one phone call, one video, one social media post, you put in all this effort and you expected that you were going to get a deal just because of that? It doesn't work that way. Small little wins along the way. And so when we talk to routine and process, think about this. If you're scheduled every single day and you've got a good structure to your day, you know what you're doing, both between business and personal, but you can see the amount of time that you've got to do it, and you work through your day in those blocks of time, on time, and everything you set to do, you do it within that time, and then you are ready to go for the next task, and you stay focused on that task, and then you get that done. Well, now slowly but surely you're working through your day and you're accomplishing what you set out to do. And as long as you accomplish what you set out to do, and what you set out to do is in line with you achieving your goals between both life and business, then you're getting there. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen one time. It's going to happen through the compound effect. It's going to happen through doing it time and time and time again. So the point that I'm making here again is tracking the micro wins. Stop waiting for that big win to feel worthy. Allow yourself to give yourself that pat on the back, to recognize and feel the reward of doing the little actions. Because the little actions that you do repetitively that start to paint the big picture. Okay? Mona Lisa wasn't painted in a day. Thousands and thousands and thousands of tiny little brushstrokes painted that masterpiece. Rome wasn't built in a day. Brick by brick, they put that together. We've heard the cliches. The point is, they're a cliche for a reason, I've said before. Okay, so you don't need a deal to feel successful. You need progress. You need to do the work. This episode is brought to you by our friends at Kits Keep in Touch Systems, REM Real Estate Magazine, and Revel Realty. 3 organizations committed to helping you level up your brand and your business. And don't forget, the MindShare Mastermind is happening September 15th to the 17th in Toronto. This is not a passive event. This is a high-level strategy event. It's powerful conversations, real people solving real problems together. You're actively involved in the conversation, learning and problem solving with colleagues and our amazing speakers. This is a room that you want to be in. Get your seat now at MindShare101.com. Plus, when you register, you get 30 days of free group coaching and a free coaching call with me after the event. Go over to MindShare101.com for more details. Okay, so we've just really gone through and talked about confidence and how it's a sales tool and why you're second guessing yourself and how to reset. Now let's look to rebuild that inner voice. Because it's crazy how that inner voice is what controls so much of what's going on. So you can't be confident if your self-talk sucks. We've got to stop telling ourselves we're not good. We've got to stop the negativity. We've got to inject the good energy. And I know, woo, Dave. No. This ain't bullshit, okay? If you're going to be in a negative mindset and you're going to doubt yourself and you're going to have a lack of confidence that is what you're going to receive. So stop saying, I'm not good at this. Why not? I mean, it's okay. Like there's certain things in life. There's a lot of things in life that I wouldn't even venture into doing because I realized, like, for me, it's something that, like, I've just maybe never tried. But in the same token, if it's something that you want, but you've never tried it, then you can't say you're not good at it. And quite frankly, if it's something that you want and you do try it, and the first time around it doesn't go well, we still don't say I'm not good at this. You've only tried it once. First time you rode a bicycle, it didn't work out. First time you jumped in the water, it didn't work out. First time you tried to walk, it didn't work out. We all fell. We all tried again. And at some point, we finally got it. And that's life. So when it's, I'm not good at this, maybe you say to me, Dave, but it is something I've been doing for a long time. And I have been trying. So that's where I would say, again, I'm going to go there, but that's where coaching comes in. Because now we got to figure out what it is that you're doing, what you're trying to achieve, and what is not working. That's what coaches do. We look, we study, we analyze, we suggest, we problem solve, we action, we measure, we adjust, and then we track more. And next thing you know, we're helping to produce amazing success stories. So don't say you're not good at it, okay? Because I'm gonna challenge you on how much you've practiced it and what you're actually doing and how can we make it better. And if you are trying, I tell you right now, you are better than 95% of the people because most people don't try. Here, stop saying this. Stop saying nobody's responding. Now, I know that we can't control if they respond. And it's very easy to sit back and say, I'm making my calls, but nobody's calling back. Fine. Okay, maybe that's just a fact. But if we keep saying to ourselves, yeah, nobody picks up the phone. Nobody cares. It doesn't work. Obviously, nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to pick up, and it's not going to work. And don't get me wrong, it's okay to be frustrated. We all get frustrated. We all go through those little emotional spells. It's life. It's human nature. We all have brains and minds, and they do their thing. But what we do want to do is as we're working through everything we work through, start saying, like, change the narrative, right? Start saying, I'm learning. I'm improving. I am committed. See, I know for me, again, when I say to you about structure for your days and I say, be scheduled and have a structure and have a process, have a rhythm, then we get up in a day and we do the work that we're supposed to do and we didn't get the deal that we wanted to get or we didn't have the success that we wanted to have. Then we do it again the next time, the next day and the next day and the next day. Yeah, when you're not getting the successes that you want, you could look and say it's not happening. But again, we don't want to say that because what I would say to you at that point is, but did you do the work? And if you're like, yeah, I did the work, then just say to yourself, I'm improving. Remind yourself that you're committed. And as you're doing these things and you're realizing what is working and what's not working, you're also learning. See, it's just a change on the paradigm here. It's just a change on the self-talk. It's just a change on what we tell ourselves. And I get it. It's not always easy to do that. But right now, you are feeding your brain. Right now, you are learning. You are taking time for you. And right here, I want you right now to pat yourself on the back. Yeah, physically. Let's go. Do it. Pat yourself on the back and say, hey, good for me. I am learning right now. Do it. Come on. I know it feels weird. Good for me. I'm learning right now. I know. Felt a little bit weird, but you know what? Good for you. And you should take this moment right now to recognize it. And if you're not, this is part of what we're talking about today. And please, don't come into these shows, listen, and never do anything with them. I love the fact that you're here. I really do. But I'm doing this so that we can make impact. I'm not doing this to hear the sound of my own voice. Okay, I'm doing this so that you can take something away from this show that you can implement and apply to your business, your life. See, every time you self-doubt yourself, self-doubt, every time you doubt yourself, write something down that you've actually accomplished, maybe in your day, in your week, in your month, in your year, and start to anchor your mind to the facts, not the feelings. Because again, the feelings are very easy to say. It didn't work. I didn't get the call. I'm feeling down a little bit today. I'm not feeling it today. Fine. But put that stuff aside and say, let's look at the facts. Have you been scheduling yourself and really prepared on a daily basis? I have. And have you been setting out to do the actions that you need to do in order to achieve the goals that you want to achieve? I have. Are you getting the results you want? Well, I'm getting some, but they're not really exactly where I want them to be. Okay, cool. So you're doing the work. You're doing the actions. You're just not getting the results exactly how you want. Again, I'm bringing that right back. This is where coaching comes in. This is where we got the opportunity to dive in and go, okay, so what is it? Because once we could figure out exactly what it is, we're going to make improvements to it and talk about the level of confidence. You're going to get to that next level. And if you think listening to this podcast is motivating to you, which I sure hope you do, think about the opportunity to work together on a regular basis and how we can help you work through everything that you have to work through. See, confidence doesn't come from the outside. It comes from how you show up on a daily basis. So look, here's the bottom line. If you're feeling stuck, if you're in your head, or you feel like you've lost your edge, your time is right now to rebuild. Right now. See, confidence isn't about ego. It's about discipline. It's about clarity. And it's about momentum. So win the morning. Keep your promises. Track your progress. And stay focused on your lane. Because you got this. You've been listening to the MindShare Podcast, whether it's on your favorite podcast platform or directly from my website. Head to MindShare101.com for your free ultimate marketing bundle to explore one-to-one coaching, the MindShare Collective Group Coaching, and momentum training. And hey, if you're serious about your business, truly serious about your business, get yourself in the room for the MindShare Mastermind happening in Toronto on September 15th to the 17th. Follow me at David Greenspan 101 on Instagram. Send me a DM. Let me know how you're rebuilding your confidence this month. Until next time, keep building MindShare because that's how you get more market share. Big thanks to Kits Keep in Touch Systems, a REM Magazine, and Revel Realty for sponsoring the show. This has been another episode of the MindShare Podcast. Thanks for tuning in.